This is week 5 of my 3-month journey of transitioning into data analytics, and my biggest takeaway from this week is moving before I feel ready. Here's how. One of the biggest things that I did this week was continue my second portfolio project. This is really big for me because I have been procrastinating on actually working on this. You can actually see the project in the background. So in order to actually make progress, one of the things I did was just pause on my bootcamp. Leading up to this week, I was really speeding through the modules. I had made it 50% through the course, so I was looking forward to getting it over with and having the certification. But the problem was I was not applying this new information. This was a great decision for me because it allowed me to not only take a break from learning new structured information before my classes in college start next week, but it also allowed me to get a grasp on the concepts I've learned in Python, and even jump into learning Tableau and data visualization and how that works. Even though it was frustrating at first, seeing the progress that I'm making, it's re-motivating. I have also been working to avoid AI dependence when working on this project. With ChatGPT, it's easy to type in what I want to do, and then it just spits out all the code that I need. In case ChatGPT is down one day and I'm working, I don't want to not know how to look things up on Google. I am exercising the skill of thinking about what I want to do in the code before using ChatGPT for assistance. I was trying to find the attrition rate of different employee groups within a category, and I was using so much repetitive code. It was working, but it does not seem to be standardized. That's when I decided to put things into ChatGPT, and I'm like, is there a better way to do this? Like, I'm getting the right answer, but I feel like there's a better way to do this. ChatGPT spat out a function, and I'm like, okay. I have not used functions yet in a project setting. I was actually kind of avoiding it. I'm like, is there an easier way to do this? Sir ChatGPT, I do not understand this. Can you explain this to me in English? The AI broke it down for me line by line. It made sense. It works. I just spent like probably a solid 10 minutes trying to figure out what each line of that function does. Now, I don't understand it totally. As I go along and I start to use more functions, things are going to make sense. I'm taking the hard route, but the hard route is going to be useful in case there's a system outage. The second thing that I did this week that was way before I thought I was ready is updating my resume and LinkedIn profile. I did a lot of data cleaning at one of my previous jobs in Excel, and a lot of reporting and some data visualization, not in the form of graphs, but more in the form of tables, making it look pretty. I'm like, hold on, this is a transferable skill. I might actually be able to do something with this. This was so awesome for me because I thought I was starting totally from zero, but Excel is still a very big component of data analysis. I saw this job online. It said Excel, macros, VLOOKUPs, pivot tables, formulas. I have done all of that. That is what pushed me over the edge to actually update my resume. Rather than using ChatGPT to help boost the wording and make it more concise, I used Grok instead. My husband gets credit for that. ChatGPT, I like to equate to a friend who's going to hype you up. And I don't get too many no's from ChatGPT. Grok seems more of a professor, a teacher, or an assistant. Grok will tell you if you're doing something like, you sure you want to do that? And for something so important as resume, I need you to tell me no. And then after all of this, the third thing I did was actually apply to my first job. This was the job that I was so excited for, but my resume wasn't ready yet. I put it into Grok. I'm like, Grok, it's 3 pages. Can you make it smaller? And Grok's like, you got to get rid of some of these bullet points. And so that's what I did. It was really difficult. The ones that really did not line up were most of the recruiting points that I have. I've gotten great experience from recruiting. I don't think that's what hiring managers are going to want to see when it comes to a transitioning data professional. And then I also decided to put details of my projects on there. I have not created a separate website to put my completed project and then my in progress project. But I'm like, you know what? It counts as experience, so I can at least put it on there, especially since I haven't worked the data support, contract support job in a year. I wanted something that was going to show my current progress that I can put on top. I'm actually very proud of how it turned out, but we'll see if I start getting any interviews or anything like that. The first resume I sent, it was made specifically for the company that I was applying for. And then the next 5 jobs that I applied for, I just took a general version of that resume and just sent it through. I was not expecting to apply to my first job until like a month from now, at least. I don't know if I'm even like 30 to 40%, maybe even 50% qualified for the jobs that I applied for, but I think it's a good thing for me to start getting used to the process of applying, picking out different skills that hiring managers are looking for, and marketing myself as a data professional that happens to be transitioning out of a different career. So even if I don't get any interviews, it's okay. And then I've been really scared of what others are going to think of me in my circle, but putting myself out there before I'm totally ready. I still have so much to learn. I haven't even scratched the surface of what there is out there in data tools and what information you can get. I've barely touched machine learning and I think it's predictive modeling, but that sounds so interesting to me. That's when we make it back to the boot camp and continuing on through that. The more trials, the more errors, but then again, the more successes that can come out of those errors. In spite of the challenges, I'm really enjoying the process. I am a very results-oriented person, so I like to push myself to get results as fast as possible. But a career mentor reminded me, you can only control what you can control. So I am controlling what I can control right now. So yeah, if you're working towards a career transition, what career are you transitioning out of and what field are you breaking into? And then if you are currently in data now, let me know in the comments what you found to be the most helpful getting into the field. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time.